Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's video. Today I want to look cute for you guys, so I'm using the camera. So if it doesn't look even, it is what it is. Let me get some water. Where's the water? So I want to look cute. For the love of YouTube. Do I look cute enough? Anyway, good morning guys, good afternoon, good evening. Dumelang, which means hello. Welcome to today's video. My name is Lilian. If you're new here, I have been a very lazy girl when it comes to making videos. I think it's because I've been busy. I've lost a lot of the motivation to do it, because I think when I started my channel, I started it during the times of coronavirus. So I guess now that we are slowly getting back into the gist of things, I have less time to do the things that I want to do, or the things that I love doing. But anyway, here we are. We are gonna try. I mean, I got lipstick on, guys. I got lipstick on. Okay, so let's get this video going. So today's video is going to be about daddy issues, girls and their papas, girls and their daddies. And I'm not talking about daddy, I'm talking about my dad. Not daddy, not that one, the other one, the biological one. So yeah, so that's what the story time is going to be about. So I hope you enjoy it. So let's just get right into it, so that I can we can get on with the video. If I get emotional, forgive me. If I don't, please forgive me, because I think I've tried to do this video severally. I haven't switched on the camera, but every time I want to do it, it's always like something comes up. So I'm not in the mood, or I'm too emotional to even think about it, or whatever. But yeah, so here we are today. So I'm going to tell you about my dad, my relationship with my dad, and all the shenanigans, or all the things that come with being, or come with having the kind of relationship that we have. So let me tell you how I met my dad. One day, I didn't used to live in Kenya. I lived somewhere in Botswana. And so in 2000, where's my voice doing that? In 2008, I moved back home after a whole story, which is a story for another video. I moved back home in 2008 in February of 2008. I moved back home. I was living in Nairobi, Kenya with my aunt in Kikuyu, and yeah, that's how I just moved back. And yeah, I started staying with my auntie, and the reason I had moved back is because I was trying to figure out, or trying to meet my dad, who lived in Kenya at the time. So when I went back there, finding him was not difficult, because his brother owns a school in Nakuru. Nairobi, of course, I'm sure that you know where Nairobi is. Nakuru is about 2 hours away from Nairobi, capital city of Kenya. So we were trying to look for my dad. So the easiest way, my uncle was a bank manager, and my dad's brother, who had a school, used to bank with that said bank. And now this bank, that's how we got to get my dad's brother. Then we got my dad's number, and that's how I got to find out where my dad was. And at that time, he was currently living in Nakuru. So So we found him. My mom had to fly over to Kenya so that she could introduce me to my dad, which was well and good. But at the time, I didn't know. I didn't know that they had found him, and I didn't know that I was going to get introduced. I knew it would eventually happen, but I just didn't know when. So one day in Kikuyu, I was home alone because my auntie used to work. My mom had come to visit, so she was out doing her rounds because she was back home. So she was doing all her around zake za Nairobi, all the things that she needed to do while in Nairobi. So she comes home one afternoon, and I'm home. So she walks in, she's with this guy, she walks in, then they sit down in the sitting room, and I'm like, hey, hello, how are you? May I make you guys some tea? So I make them tea. We had tea. And then in the middle of having tea, because now the conversation was kind of awkward, because there was silence, there was awkwardness. So I was just there like, so who's this and what's happening? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's just like, oh yeah, that's your dad. I'm just like, okay. I didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do either. I mean, I was 20, what? How old was I? Don't shame me for this. I gotta calculate how old I was. This is so shameful. 2021 minus 2008. No, I was not 13. What's wrong with you? Wait, what am I doing? 2008? Lilian, you're embarrassing yourself. Anyway, I was 22. So here I am, 22-year-old, meeting her dad for the first time. The dude is just there, doesn't know what to do, what to say. So we just look at each other awkwardly. At the end, there was an awkward hug, and that's how I met my dad. Just like that. So that day he left. So he lived in Nakuru. So I lived in Nairobi, so we couldn't meet as much because he wasn't a frequent traveler to Nakuru due to his job. He was a manager on the western side of Kenya, and I was not on that side of Kenya. So most of these trips were normally on those sides of Kenya, and yeah, so that's why we couldn't really meet most of the times. Then I happened to go to Nakuru in May or March. Doesn't matter. I happened to go to visit my uncle, the said uncle who worked in a bank, who had actually helped find my dad. So I went to Nakuru and I loved it. Do you know, I went to Nakuru for a weekend and I ended up staying in Nakuru for 12 years. 12 years of my life was in Nakuru, and I went for a weekend and just never went back to Nairobi. I'm just like, wow. 12 good years. But Nakuru has it has a lot of stories. We'll get into that. So now that I've moved from Nairobi to Nakuru, I was able to meet my dad more frequently. We would meet at a hotel called Midlands. It's not on Kenyatta Avenue. It's actually on the highway. For those of you who live in Nakuru, we would meet at Midlands, and we used to have those little dates there at Midlands. So we were trying to get to know each other at that time. Very awkward, but we were trying to get to know each other. And this is of course when I met my stepmother. Now I've already done a video on how I met my stepmom, so you're gonna have to watch that to see what happened, but I'm not getting into that part of the story. So we had an amazing relationship. I would go with him to the trips he did. In fact, I got to know most of Kenya through my dad's trips, because we would go to Embu, we'd go to Meru, we'd go to Nyeri, we'd go to Eldoret, Nyahururu, Nairobi. We did all those trips because he used to travel a lot for his job. So I used to go with him, and that's how we got to know each other. And those were the best days. In fact, if you saw us in town, you would think that he was my sugar daddy, because we're very we hug, we're huggers. We hold hands. At 22, we were like this, best buddies. He would come look for me during work hours. He'd bring me lunch. He'd always surprise me for my birthday. He'd come visit me at home. I'd make him breakfast. We had like the best relationship. We used to be really, really, really close. So yeah, he would take care of me. He taught me how to change my tires. make sure my car was always serviced. He made sure he taught me the things that I needed to know, so that in case of anything, or in case anything happened to me on the road, I knew how to change a tire. I knew how to check for oil. I knew, look, I'm an independent woman. Let's just put it that way. If you know anything other than that, then me and you have a problem. If you know me, that is. So yeah, that's how our relationship with my dad went, and it was actually quite a while, several years into that relationship, and we'd gotten to know each other. His girls are amazing. We became friends. In fact, one of my sisters got married, and she asked me to be in her wedding lineup, but I couldn't because I was out of the country. So yeah, that's how close we became, even after the stepmother stories, which you should definitely go and watch. So how we got to here now, where we are now. I know they had a falling out. My mom and dad had a falling out. So they stopped talking. Eventually they stopped talking because they were really good buddies, but they stopped talking. I didn't get into that because I'm the child, and in African culture, whatever's between your parents is between your parents. So yeah, our relationship started going downhill. Then he wouldn't come as often. I was the one who was always looking for him. I know things were not going very well for him, so I understand that aspect, but I don't understand why he stopped talking to me. I don't understand why he stopped visiting. I don't understand why he pulled back. I literally had to like physically look for him if I wanted to see him. So that's how our relationship started going downhill, and I never understood why. Till today, I cannot tell you why. So there's a time I met him. I knew where my dad drinks one for the road. Yeah, he takes one for the road before he goes home. So I knew the joint where he used to go and chill with his friends. And I decided to, if I wanted to see him, that's where I would go find him. Especially now that our relationship was kind of like going downhill, I'd go find him there. And yeah, so I'd say hello to his friends, would hang out for a few. It wasn't a very nice, comfortable place to be. You know, it's a bar, and so it wasn't my thing. So I didn't really enjoy spending time with him there. But if I wanted to see him and say hi, that's where I would find him. So one of those days when I went and I found him there, he said something to me very interesting. In Kikuyu, he said, Moshiari dashara, how do you say it? Moshiari dasharagia shiana shiake. If you understood me. In loosely translated to, parents don't look for their children. Shanani shoshia daga moshiari. Yani, I'm the one to look for him. He's not supposed to look for me. And that took me kind of aback, because that's not the relationship we had. That's not the friendship that we had. So I guess maybe something had happened and I kind of know what happened. Kind of, a little. But that's something that I'm not going to share here. But yeah, so that's what he said. And I was amazed. I was shocked. I was like, okay. So eventually the calling ended. The visitations ended, as I said, and we were now in a new place, and I'm like, so now what am I supposed to do with this? You know, so now what exactly? Anywho, fast forward to a couple of years. Yeah, fast forward to a couple of years. My grandma died, and that's the first time I saw my dad in like so long. I went, and he was really nice to me. We buried our grandmother. We had a good time, and I remember even calling him after the funeral, and I'm like, can I buy you lunch? I sent him money to buy lunch, and I called him again a second time just to say hello and find out how he was doing, because he was really, really close to his mom, and I loved her too. I didn't visit her as often, but I really did love her. And yeah, I really tried, but it didn't turn into what I thought it would turn into. He didn't respond. He never called, you know. So I decided that it is what it is. And last year in November, when I moved here, I actually didn't tell him. I had planned to call him and tell him, or maybe even send him a text message and say, hey Dad, I'm leaving the country. I may not be back, but it's good for you to know. But I felt some kind of way because you don't talk to me, you don't look for me. In African tradition, I'm actually just supposed to call him and tell him of everything that's happening because he's my father out of respect. But I looked at it and I'm like, yo, dude, you are the one who decided to step back, yeah? You're the one who decided to do what you're doing. I have extended my, is it extending my olive branch? I have called you, I have texted you, I've invited you for lunch. But when we meet face to face, you would think that we're really tight. But if we're not meeting face to face, there's no communication, nothing. So it took me 22 years to find this man. 22 years to find him. We had a great relationship of a couple of years, and then it went straight downhill. So that really affected me. Now, in that, even when I was growing up, I didn't know my dad. I knew the guy I was named after. If you're an African, you understand that you're named after somebody. And I knew the guy I was named after, even the name of my channel. That somebody I know. That somebody is whom I called my father for a very long time. He turned out not to be. So when I met my biological dad, it was amazing. I mean, I got to see the other side of how it feels like to actually have a father, and not just a father, your biological father. You know, naming or names are very important to me. And for those people who know me personally, they know why. It's because of such. Because I've never been in a home where, okay, I have been in a home where we all share the same name, but that went downhill very fast. So I've never been in a situation where I felt like I belonged, especially name-wise, because everywhere I go, I'm always the odd one out, you know? I am the Smith in a, what's another popular name? Or let's just say I'm the Mwangi in the karaoke family. Do you get it? Like, I'm always the odd one out. So that's affected me for a very long time, but I never share stuff like that with just anybody. And that's what I'm going to say. So these daddy issues are very, I don't know how to say, because you know, they affect, especially us women, girls, they affect the way we date, they affect the men that we choose. Because for a very long time, I remember someone sitting me down and telling me, Lilian, look at your exes. They all have a certain look. They all do a certain thing. They all treat you a certain way. And that's because I always looked for the wrong thing in these men. I always looked for the wrong kind of love in these men. I always looked for someone to be proud of me, to be especially proud, you know, like to tell me like I'm proud of you, or of how far you've come. Up until the last guy I dated, I was always looking for the wrong things. Even the guy I date currently, now what the hell do I say? Even my ex, let's call him that, he was a different kind of guy, and I learned a lot about myself from him. But I think in hindsight, I still think that I expected way too much of him. I expected a little bit more than I should have from a boyfriend, because I had so many issues and he understood, especially daddy issues. So yeah, these things, daddy issues, affect how we choose our husbands, because girls typically go for somebody who's just like their dad. I don't have a dad, so who exactly am I going after? You know? So I had a type. Let's just say I had a type. And it's good to, I think it reaches a point where you have to realize that these things actually do affect you, and you have to kind of like work on them. I've been working on it. I've been working on myself. I've been trying to sit myself down and say, hey, you didn't have a dad for a very long time, then you had one, and now you don't. So you're going to have to learn how to do this without that part of your life being there. God will help me. I have mentors now. I have people who walk with me and who talk to me and who guide me. I have people that I am under, and it's a process. It's a painful process at the beginning, but at the end of it, it's beneficial, because I see change. I see me looking at relationships different. I know what I want, and I'm not going to stand for something different or stand for less than what I deserve. And I'm working on it. I'm telling Jesus to heal my heart, because it's very painful to have had something and then to have lost it. It's like rejection all over again. It's like I got it, then all of a sudden this person decided they do not want to be a part of my life, so they have retracted, so I'm back to square one. So it's like being I know the word in Kikuyu, but in English it's refusing. Goshumekyo. It's like being taunted, like something is being dangled in front of you, but you can't, you almost get it, but you don't. So if I was to meet my dad, I still have some anger in me. I still have some hurt that's gonna take a while. It's not an instant thing. It doesn't just go. I'm still angry, because why would you say the thing you said? So does that mean you're never gonna look for me? I'm the one who has to look for you. Second of all, I'm your child. That's the blood that runs through my veins is your blood. So there's no way, there's nothing you can do about that. Nothing, absolutely nothing. We are related. We are related by blood. There's nothing you can do. And it's how do I put it? It's sad, it's pathetic, sad that you would stoop to that level, because whatever issues there may be, I don't think I'm the cause. You understand? Whatever issues that may be there for you not to talk to me are not my fault. It's not me who sat down and decided to mess you up or do something to you. I didn't do that. You did that all on your own. Like, whatever is happening to you is happening to you. I acknowledge the fact that there may be issues, but they're not my fault. They're not my fault. I don't understand why our relationship should get to the point where you're not even talking to me. But it's okay. It's fine. Okay, it's not okay. It's not fine. But it is what it is. We're here. We're here now. You've made your choice to do what you've done, and it's fine. I will respect the fact that you have made that choice. If I was to get married, I would let him know. If something significant was to happen in my life, I would let him know. But that's the farthest I'm going. That is the most respect that I'm going to give you. Just that. Nothing else. Nothing else. I don't even know whether you'll walk me down the aisle, because I don't want somebody who's standing next to me. First of all, you do not know me. Second of all, why am I honoring you so much? Where have you been all this time, you know? But unfortunately, in the African tradition, at some point it's like, this is your father, there's nothing you can do. I need his blessings. So I'm hoping that by the time I'm getting married or having children, by that time God would have helped me to forgive this man. God would have helped me to just let go, and yeah, maybe he can walk me down the aisle. But I'm still not understanding why I should honor him so much. Why should he have such a special place? Why? I think it should just be my mom. She raised me up anyway. So anyway, see, those are the issues I'm talking about. Girls and their daddies. So yeah, that was my story time. 24 minutes. I've never even done a video of 24 minutes. Yo, who's gonna edit that? Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you have come all the way to the end of this video, thank you. It means you enjoyed my story time. If you have anything that you would like to comment down below, please do. Yeah, we can share our war stories down there. We can chit chat down there in the comment section below. And also down there somewhere here, there's a subscribe button. Hit it. Hit the notification bell so that every time I release a video, you are notified. Then what else? Share, like, and how about we meet in the next video? Don't forget to let the light of Jesus shine through you. Yes, you.